What made Disney go from making award-winning films and dominating pop culture to producing mediocre TV shows? What is the real story behind this TV show-producing giant? Let's break it down. The early 2000s Disney TV shows weren't just about good shows. They were a whole experience. If you grew up during this time, you probably rushed home after school just to catch the latest episode. You knew the theme songs by heart. The characters felt like real friends. But what made these shows so good? And why do newer Disney shows just never hit the same way again? Let's go back to when Disney Channel had everything figured out. Disney back then knew how to tell stories that felt real, even when the setups were wild. With shows like Lizzie McGuire, this was one of the first to nail that coming-of-age magic. If you were a kid in the early 2000s, Lizzie McGuire was your survival guide for middle school. Hilary Duff made Lizzie so relatable that it felt like she was going through the same awkward, funny, and embarrassing moments as you, navigating friendships, first crushes, and that constant battle between self-doubt and confidence. And of course, we would never forget Hannah Montana, where Miley Stewart was just a regular teenager, and by night, she was a famous singer. It seemed like the best of both worlds. But what made the show work wasn't just the double life, it was how Miley Cyrus made her character feel real. Hannah Montana was more than a story about a secret identity. It was about handling big dreams while staying true to yourself. Wizards of Waverly Place stole a lot of hearts. Selena Gomez as Alex Russo was the perfect mix of sarcastic and lovable. She made Alex someone you couldn't help but root for, not just because of her magical mishaps, but because she felt like a real person. Then there was Phineas and Ferb, the animated series. This show literally had the same setup every episode. Phineas and Ferb built something crazy, Candace tried to bust them, and Perry the Platypus secretly fought an evil scientist. But somehow, this loop never got old. Even though it ended in 2015, Phineas and Ferb is still a favorite for a lot of people. It mixed humor, heart, and creativity so well that it became one of Disney Channel's best. Disney didn't just throw out random shows, they made stories that stuck. Why? Because they had hearts. They knew how to mix fun with real emotion, something modern Disney never has again. Take That's So Raven, a teenage girl who can see the future. Sounds wild, but it worked because Raven felt real. Then there's Hannah Montana, where a high school girl secretly lives as a pop star. These weren't just gimmicks, they made every episode feel fresh. But it wasn't just the setups, the characters mattered. They weren't just cracking jokes, they grew. Lizzie McGuire didn't just deal with silly middle school problems, she messed up, learned, and changed. Even Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, a comedy at heart, let Zack and Cody grow into different people over time. This was what made them feel real and relatable. And the writing? That's where old Disney really stood out. The jokes weren't just goofy. Phineas and Ferb had some of the sharpest writing on kids' TV, with humor adults could enjoy too.
Do you know how dumb you look?
I thought it would be a good way to get more attention.
I love your outfit. It's so cute.
Gorge jump!
Boy Meets World tackled real struggles, bullying, family problems, self-doubt, and made them feel real, not forced. Even That's So Raven took on topics like racism and body image with surprising honesty, something you can rarely see today. It wasn't just the main cast carrying these shows. Side characters actually added something. Mr. Mosby in Sweet Life, Ron Stoppable in Kim Possible, Chelsea in That's So Raven. They weren't just extras. They had their own quirks, growth, and moments that mattered. And visually, these shows looked better. No drowning in green screens and bad CGI. Wizards of Waverly Place's magic shop felt like a real place. The Tipton Hotel in Sweet Life had a real atmosphere. You could believe these characters lived in these worlds. But the biggest difference? The impact. These weren't just shows. They were moments. High School Musical wasn't just a movie. It was a phenomenon. Lizzie McGuire didn't just have fans. She had a generation quoting her lines. Disney used to know that kids deserved stories with hearts, ones that made them laugh, think, and feel something real. That's why these shows lasted, and that's exactly what modern Disney is missing. So, what changed? Maybe Disney started caring more about selling brands than telling stories. Maybe they got scared to take risks, or maybe they just can't recreate what made this era special. Let's find out. Now, if you have followed their shows for some time, you would notice that it looks like Disney has run out of ideas. Instead of new and exciting stories, we're getting the same old stuff over and over again. There was a time when Disney was willing to explore crazy ideas. Now, they seem to play it safe with the same kinds of plots that don't catch your attention. And speaking of the past, sure, shows like Raven's Home or The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder remind us of old times, but they just don't hit the same way. It's like trying to repeat something that worked before. Everyone knows that it rarely ever does. Another big issue is the characters. To put it in a short sentence, they are not alive anymore. Disney used to create memorable characters that felt real. Now, we're seeing a lot of copies of old characters. The charm and uniqueness that made those old shows special, it's pretty much gone. These new characters feel flat, like they were thrown together without much. But what is the most annoying problem is cancellation. You know how you finally find a show you like and then surprise, it's canceled after 1 or 2 seasons. Disney keeps pulling the plug too quickly. Shows like The Villains of Valley View had a lot of potential, but instead of giving them time to grow, no, they canceled it even before they really got a chance. This is believed to be the implementation of the unofficial policy limiting their shows to 65 episodes. And don't even get me started on Girl Meets World. It was meant to bring back the magic of Boy Meets World, but it got cut after just 3 seasons. Fans were left wondering what could have been if Disney had let it grow. I mean, we have to ask, what is really happening? Another crucial thing is the writing and storyline. These new storylines are weak. If you had paid careful attention, you would have noticed that the tone had changed. Old Disney shows could tackle serious topics like bullying, racism, and family problems without being too heavy-handed. They balanced story and message, but now it feels like the message comes first and the story gets lost. Take Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion, for instance. The show tried to be different, but the forced dialogue and weak writing didn't work, and surprise, it got canceled after just 1 season. Come on. At the end of the day, it feels like Disney cares more about money than creating memorable content. Shows like The Owl House, which had a loyal fan base, were cut short because they didn't fit with Disney's merchandise plans. Fans are upset because they just want to see their favorite shows grow and flourish. Someone needs to tell these people that it's not just about toys or theme parks, it's about decisions that affect the creative side of things. Disney seems more interested in quick profits than in telling stories that last, and that's becoming pretty obvious in the quality of their content. And the result of this is that it has left a lot of longtime Disney fans feeling disconnected. The magic that used to be there seems to be missing, and newer shows just don't seem to spark the same emotional connection. The younger crowd may watch, but they aren't forming the same lasting bonds that Disney used to build with its audience. So, what happened? Is Disney just losing its way, or is there something deeper going on? Let's move on to something really fishy. Now, there has been some late controversy with Disney that has caused a lot of buzz. First, the animated series Win or Lose was originally going to include a transgender storyline, which would have been a huge step for the company in terms of inclusivity, which they have claimed to support. But instead, Disney swapped it out for a character named Lori, the first openly Christian character in a Disney show in almost 20 years. As you can guess, this sparked a lot of reactions. Let's see the second issue. Disney, as of this year, is showing real signs of pulling back from traditional TV. Back on January 7th, 2025, Disney Channel Spain shut down after 27 years. For anyone who grew up watching it, that was a big deal. Fans were upset because it wasn't just the end of a TV channel, it felt like the end of an era. And why did this happen? Disney is focusing more on its streaming service, Disney Plus. This isn't a random choice, it's part of a bigger plan. Disney has been shutting down channels in places like the UK, Southeast Asia, and Latin America, all to push people towards streaming. From a business point of view, it makes sense, but it also means they're leaving a lot of longtime viewers behind. For those who've been watching Disney Channel for years, losing it is more than just switching platforms. It's losing a part of what made Disney special. Now, we know that streaming is the future, but this will be a major shift that will lead to a loss of a lot of fans of these TV shows who are not ready for the move. Could this be the problem? This major shift, could it be the reason for Disney's drawback? Let me know what you think. And if you think there is another reason for this, let us know also in the comment section. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel.